You got one set of controls, there's also a remote control, but we don't have it, it goes missing, you can have it if you want. Power buttons down here. You've got volume, and then you can slide, you've got your brightness, we can increase, decrease. The home buttons here, if you ever get lost and you want to come back to the home screen, there's also side menus, which has your home button and some quick launch stuff, and you can also slide that up if you don't want kids touching it. So I'm going to slide that up on the top third for you. So, first things first, how to screen share. So if you plug a HDMI directly into the front, it'll automatically switch to it. I've also done a shortcut here. So if you're already plugged in, you go to your whiteboard, you can just come back and hit HDMI 1. So if I go into screen share, open up your laptop and press Windows K. And then what you'll see is ACO1 in a sec will appear, and you'll click on that, and you are now sharing to the screen. No apps have to be installed. That's your selling point versus touch next door. And then the cool thing is, see in that box now, it says allow mouse keyboard touch. So if you click on that, you can now come over here and control your laptop and then use ink tools, things like that. So you can leave your laptop back in the room, no cables at the front, leave it plugged in, control it from back here. And as I said before, if I press this side bubble, I can go back to the home screen, I'm still connected. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the whiteboard. So, biggest issue I find with brands that try and tell you how to teach? No. So these pens, passive pens, if you break them, they're cheap as chips, I get them for free and I'll just send them to your school. What I generally do is keep one on the TV, put one in the drawer. So, down the bottom on your toolbar and whiteboard, if I touch with the front of the pen, I can choose a colour. If I then touch with the back of the pen, I can choose a colour. And then I can do front of the pen, back of the pen, your whole palm, erase. So there's an efficiency gain for you when you're teaching, so you don't have to grab different pens out. So, that's your basics. We also have the ability, if I go for a new slide, we can change the colour. We can also bring a different background in, and you can bring a custom background in that you put on USB stick. And that's the resolution. If you make a custom one, 3840 by 2160, that's the ideal. But if I choose, for the moment, this, and I go add, we've now got some basic writing lines, and I can now write very poorly with the Queensland modern cursive. I don't know how you do it.
It's grade 1, not cursive.
Is it? Okay, there we go. Sorry, my bad. So yeah, and what you can do is you can go back and forth between your pages. One thing I really like too is, let me do my skill set that's my best skill. Hey, you're giving it away, now I screwed it up. Thanks, Kaya. Right, so what I'm going to do, right, boom, 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 draw and pepper. So we're going to either do what you traditionally do, go new slide, new slide, new slide in your whiteboard, or if you click this button down here, you can squeeze, double finger move, and you can make an infinite canvas and work around. So if you've got kids that want to you want to build a whiteboard and do a bit of a workflow with them, you've got that option. When you're finished with your whiteboard, you can insert shapes in here. So you've got your shapes. You've also got your lasso, so you can lasso what's on the screen, move it around, make copies, change the colour, whatever you want. So that's your basic controls. This is to erase, this is to clear your whiteboard. So the clear function works really well if you create a background and you want to keep that background there, just clear it and write over the top. So if you're doing your writing grid and you want to just get kids coming up practicing. Down here, we've got the ability to, your 3 dots is where all the magic is. So you can insert images off USB stick. So if you wanted to make a background that had a square, circle, triangle, and then insert pictures, you can get kids to say, I want to drag the tiger into the circle. You also have the ability to add text, sticky notes. You could open up a PDF. So I remember back in the day, everything was done on PDFs via one school. So you could actually save the PDF to a USB, put it in here, bring it into the whiteboard, annotate. And then the cool thing about doing that is we can then save it. And if we save it as an IWB file, you can reopen it and keep going the next day. Or if you export it as a PDF or JPEG, you could save that to a USB stick. So if your parents like, Timmy's not learning anything, well, this is actually what we did today. Timmy's just not paying attention. It's always Timmy's. And then under tools, you've got rulers. So with the ruler, you can come in here, if you draw in that blue, look, if I select the pen, draw in the blue, and then you also can, like so, and then you can extend that ruler out or in, and you can close that ruler. You've also got visualizer. So if you want to plug a document camera or a webcam into USB on the panel, you could then display on the screen what's on that camera. So if you want to read a book to the kids or bring a book into the whiteboard, you can do so. Some teachers on the last week of school just take photos of the kids and draw over the top, keep them entertained. And then Canvas. So this is why I'm recording, there's a lot there.
Yeah, that's okay.
Split mode in Canvas. And if I go to these 3 dots at the top here, we can make it a 3-way split. So you could have 3 different teams keeping tally on the board.
Yep.
And each one can choose a different colour and write simultaneously on the board.
Wow, okay, yep.
So you could have 2 people with the pens or 3 people with their hands. You can have 20 people with their hands working on the board. But
Yep.
so with this, if I go screenshot, I can now click and drag what they've done on that canvas. And I can either bring it into the whiteboard or I can save it onto USB. So if I bring that into the whiteboard, continue, that's now in our whiteboard.
Yeah.
So if I now go back to your laptop, it's going to automatically reconnect because you haven't disconnected. What we can also do is this little toolbar here on the side with the pen and the pad allows us to put an overlay on the screen, and then you can come and mark over the top whatever you want.
Okay.
And then what you can do down here, this photo option, if I click on that, I can then choose to screen capture that and put that in my whiteboard.
Okay.
So whatever's showing on the screen, including the iPad
Yeah.
connected to it, if you press that button, it will allow you to draw over the top, make notes for even your whiteboard. And the other thing you can do too, which makes it a lot easier, if you're connected to your laptop, to go to your whiteboard, you just click that whiteboard.
Okay.
So the only thing with Air servers, you've got to go back in via screen sharing.
Yeah.
If it's HDMI, you can just click that button down the bottom and it goes back to it. So really, what we can do too, one other thing, so how I would usually do this if I was walking into class in the morning, first thing I'll do is come up, turn the screen on, click on Newline class, and then minimize that in the corner. So now if I go into my screen share, and I've got my laptop open, you'll see that little icons up there.
Yeah.
You can click on that, and then you can come in here and you can have instructions showing on the screen. You can also have traffic lights, dice, spinner, timer. And so you can bring them up at any time. So this goes up to 12 and you just got to give each kid a fruit.
Yeah.
And that'll draw a winner. You can do your countdown. Once that's done.
Yeah.
So you can do your dice roll. We can start gambling with the kids early.
Yeah.
And then your traffic lights. And then again, you can minimize that whenever you want, bring it back up. So the Newline tools is for primary school, one of my favourite things, because for me that would just stay on the screen all day, every day.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then the last thing, because my wife's a nurse, and she told me she'll divorce me if I don't show people this. So she's a school nurse.
Oh, okay.
Alright? Used to work at Queensland Health, and then became in the school system. Used to get pissed off because that she would try and remind teachers of riddlings and things like that. So you can click on that clock, takes you to this screen here. You've got your alarm. So what you can do is you can program alarms to go off every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday to remind you about riddlings, insulins, any of that stuff. I know Doomadgee State School did 21 of these. They're running composite classes. They've got different bells via the TV rather than doing a campus-wide bell system. So what they did is they made sure each TV is synced to the same time server. And then they have their own bells for depending on what class it is. And when you do this, you can say, all right, 8:30 AM, you can come in here and change what the sound is. So you can add a new sound off USB. So you could add something from Minions or whatever, like you do with the bells, to make the kids happy. And then like I said, you can repeat, you don't have to. I can then come in here and turn that alarm on or off at any time. So that's your TV.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
There's also apps in here on top of what we've shown you. Really, the only thing I really worry about is probably if they put them on the network, you open up your web browser, but it depends on the school. But that Newline class is pretty much it.
Yeah. That's awesome.